South Florida came to define my life, but I didn't start there. I was born in Virginia in 1954. My family had a small house in a small town called Madison Heights where my parents grew what we ate. A far cry from private planes and luxury yachts. We had chickens, and some of my earliest memories are of going to collect the eggs. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister, and we spent lots of our time running through the miles of woods behind the house, building forts, and having battles throwing mud balls across rambling creeks. We had swings on the front and back porch, and a clothesline in the back where we would hang our laundry to dry. Across the street was a place called Bryant's Market where the old-timers sat out front chewing tobacco. At age 5, I started going over there to help pump gas at the only pump there was for miles in either direction on the main road. I couldn't wait to get out of bed in the morning so I could run across the street and get started. Sometimes I'd wait for hours for a vehicle to pull up to the pump. I loved how every car was different. I'd observe the way they looked and smelled, delighting in the shiny chrome and the stink of the engine fumes. I was only a kid, but every time I filled a tank, I felt like a man. Even then, cars were at the center of my dreams. My mother was the most compassionate woman I ever met. Her name was Elise Maud Elliott Lanier, and she worked at a state institution for mentally and physically disabled people. Sometimes we would pick her up from work, and I would see these young people struggling to walk. It was hard for me to understand why they were the way they were. My mom cared so much for these people, and they loved her back. All her life, until she retired, that's what she did. Be in service to others. My mom taught me that the greatest form of knowledge in our lives is empathy. My dad, Noel Edward Lanier Jr., had no formal education beyond the 6th grade, but he could read and write blueprints, and he had a job at a pipe foundry. People called him Junior, and he could build anything. All over our house, there was stuff that he made out of wood with his hands: couches, potato bins, tables, and chairs. He had a Harley Davidson with a suicide clutch, a shifter near the tank, and a clutch pedal by his foot. On Saturdays, he would take one of us kids on a ride. I would get so excited when it was my turn. The motorcycle looked so huge, and the engine was so loud. He would pick me up and put me on the back, and away we'd go, riding along the Blue Ridge Parkway in the Shenandoah Valley. It felt like heaven, holding on to my dad and riding through the valley. Speed, open air, family. What else do you need?